Hello everyone, in this video we will look at the features of Lucid's Collibra Informatica PowerCenter template. The template loads PowerCenter metadata into Collibra DGC. In this video, we will look at how the PowerCenter metadata is organized in DGC and how the lineage is presented across dependent PowerCenter elements. Following are the assets and relations that get loaded from PowerCenter into DGC. The metadata of the source data structures and elements as captured by PowerCenter. The mapping specification that holds the metadata of the PowerCenter mappings and transformations. Field mapping between the source and the target data elements. The sequences, lookups, expressions used in the mapping. SQL override used in the source qualifiers are captured as is without parsing. Transformation logic captures the data flow from across various transformation components for every target to source field map. Finally, the metadata of the target data structures and elements as captured by PowerCenter. The red line represents the column-level lineage from the source data element to the target data element as loaded or transformed by each of the PowerCenter mapping. Let us now see how these are represented in DGC when loaded. The template provides options to filter the metadata extraction based on Informatica folder, for load into DGC. For this demo, let us look at a PowerCenter mapping, Map EDW Load Superstore. It uses two sources, Customer Table from an Oracle database and Sample Superstore Table from SQL Server database. The Workflow Manager shows the two connection details. The source qualifier has an embedded SQL. There is a lookup on product table. There is an embedded SQL as well. There is a sequence generator used with two columns, curval and next val. There is an expression transformation that finally loads to the target table in SQL Server. It has one of the ports, 2013 sales, mapped to a literal, which cannot be traced back. The other expressions, however, can be traced back. There is also an expression that concatenates the first and the last name, before it is loaded into the target as customer name. Finally, let us take a column in the target, say, customer name, and do a backward link path. The flow is highlighted, which is expected to be captured in DGC post the metadata load. Now let us switch to DGC to see how all of these metadata are organized as assets. A community based on user input is created. The assets are then organized under various domains. Data Transformations domain holds the PowerCenter mapping assets such as the transformations loaded as the mapping specification. The assets such as the sequences, lookups, SQL overrides and expressions are loaded in the Physical Data Assets domain. Systems and Databases domain holds the database and server assets. The physical assets such as the schema, tables, and columns from the source or target data sources are loaded as domains named as DB name greater than schema name under subcommunities named based on the database server. This follows the Collibra catalog naming. These physical assets are loaded with the metadata as captured in the PowerCenter repository. When the actual physical assets are loaded via the Collibra catalog or through Lucid's database templates, the actual metadata from the source or target data stores override the metadata from PowerCenter. Let us now look at each of the asset types, in detail, loaded for one of the PowerCenter mapping. Let us look at the Data Transformations domain. This has the map EDW load superstore mapping specification that captures the equivalent PowerCenter mapping metadata. The source data structure sections shows the source tables for the mapping. The SQL override, the lookups, sequences, and the expressions are all shown as part of the source as they are the endpoints and cannot be traced back further to any source. Let us look at a sample of each of the asset types as loaded from the PowerCenter mapping. The SQL override shows the SQL that is embedded as part of the source qualifier. The SQL in the source qualifier could be parsed using third-party tools, in which case further lineage could be traced back. The expression asset is typically a literal that is embedded as part of the expression transformation as it becomes an endpoint that cannot be traced back further. The literal that we saw as sales is captured as part of the definition attribute of the column asset. A lookup asset captures the columns used within the lookups as well as the SQL that is used. Similarly, the sequence asset captures the columns used within sequences. Let us see one of the tables that is part of the source data structure. The customer table shows the columns that are part of the table along with their data types and precision as captured in PowerCenter. These might not be the native data types of that particular database, if not supported by PowerCenter. Also, only the columns used in PowerCenter will be brought in. To get the native data types and all tables and columns, the database assets have to be loaded through Catalog or Lucid's database integration templates. Finally, in the mapping specification, the field mapping shows the relation between the columns or fields in the target data structure to its linked column or fields in the source data structure. The transformation logic captures the flow from the source to the target across various transformations within the mapping. In this case, the flow starts with the customer table, goes through the source qualifier, an expression, and finally to the target sample superstore table as we saw as the link path in the designer client. Looking at the lineage of the customer name column, it shows how it maps to the two source columns first and last name. Looking at the lineage of the mapping specification, it shows a complete map between the source columns and the target columns. Hope this video helped you get a good view of Lucid Collibra Informatica PowerCenter templates features. For any further details, email us at collibrainfo@lucidtechsoul.com. To test drive the template with a trial subscription, visit www.lucidtechsoul.com/downloads. Thank you.